Today's Wednesday, July 31st, 2019. Coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Who came out on top in last night's Democratic presidential debate, which I didn't waste my time watching? We'll play some clips for you. I mean, a whole bunch of people who ain't going to do a damn thing, who ain't going to be around in 6 months. But okay, fine, we'll talk about it. A man in Mississippi is pulled over, attacked, and arrested by police for speeding, beaten viciously. We'll talk to him and his attorney. Former President Ronald Reagan. We knew his ass was a racist. Some of y'all needed proof. Now we got proof. We'll play it for you. And also, California says Donald Trump cannot be on the 2020 ballot unless he releases his taxes. Oh, y'all know he gonna try to sue him. Well, let's see how that goes. And Health Secretary Ben Carson, who used to work in Baltimore, goes to Baltimore to defend Donald Trump. In Baltimore, a church says, say boo. Get the hell off our property. Yeah, straight up. They threw him off the property. Also, folks, we'll chat with Erika Alexander, talking about her latest project. She and I chatted when we were at Essex. And also, a singing showdown between Smokey Robinson and Johnny Gill. The question is, whose girl is it? They sang My Girl. From the Jeffrey Osborne Celebrity Golf Classic, I have that for you. It's time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Let's roll.
He's got it. Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time. And it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, roll, y'all. It's Roland Martin, yeah. Rolling with Roland now. He's funk, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now. Martin.
Healthcare, racism, and reparations. A few of the issues on display during last night's Democratic presidential debate. It was the first one of two. Tonight is the second night. It's on CNN, which means I ain't watching. I was actually busy last night at the Jeffrey Osborne Celebrity Golf Classic, having a hell of a lot more fun than sitting around watching rapid-fire questions go out where people can't even answer the question. So, for those of you who didn't watch like me, roll the damn highlights.
How do you convince primary voters that you'd be the best nominee to take on President Trump and heal the racial divide in America?
We'll call his racism out for what it is and also talk about its consequences. It doesn't just offend our sensibilities to hear him say, send her back, about a member of Congress because she's a woman of color, because she's a Muslim American. It doesn't just offend our sensibilities when he calls Mexican immigrants rapists and criminals, or seeks to ban all Muslims from the shores of a country that is comprised of people from the world over, from every tradition of faith. It is also changing this country. Hate crimes are on the rise, every single one of the last 3 years. On the day that he signed his executive order attempting to ban Muslim travel, the mosque in Victoria, Texas, was burned to the ground. So we must not only stand up against Donald Trump and defeat him in this next election, but we must also ensure that we don't just tolerate or respect our differences, but we embrace them. That's what we've learned in El Paso, Texas, my hometown, one of the safest cities in the United States of America, not despite, but because it's a city of immigrants and asylum seekers and refugees. We will show that our diversity is our strength in my administration.
Congressman O'Rourke, given your record, how can you convince African Americans that you should be the Democratic nominee?
As an urban mayor serving a diverse community, the racial divide lives within me. I'm not saying that I became mayor and racism or crime or poverty ended on my watch. But in our city, we have come together repeatedly to tackle challenges like the fact that far too many people were not getting the help they needed in their housing, and so we directed it to a historically underinvested African-American neighborhood. Right now, in the wake of a police-involved shooting, our community is moving from hurting to healing by making sure that the community can participate in things like revising the use of force policy and making sure there are community voices on the Board of Safety that handles police matters. I've proposed a Douglas plan to tackle this issue nationally because mayors have hit the limits of what you can do unless there is national action. Systemic racism has touched every part of American life, from housing to health to home ownership. If you walk into an emergency room and you are black, your reports of pain will be taken less seriously. If you apply for a job and you are black, you are less likely to be called just because of the name on the resume. It's why I've proposed that we do everything from investing in historically redlined neighborhoods to build black wealth in home ownership.
Thank you, Mayor.
To supporting entrepreneurship for black
Thank you
Americans.
very much. How are you going to combat the rise of white supremacy?
We need to call out white supremacy for what it is, domestic terrorism, and it poses a threat to the United States of America. We live in a country now where the president is advancing environmental racism, economic racism, criminal justice racism, healthcare racism. The way we do better is to fight back and show something better. So I have a plan, for example, on education that says we have to build a better education system for all our kids, but we've got to acknowledge what's happened on race. So my plan has universal tuition-free college for all of our kids, but also increases the Pell Grants and levels the playing field by putting $50 billion into historically black colleges and universities. It cancels student loan debt for 95% of the kids with student loan debt and helps close the black-white wealth gap in America.
If Medicare for All is enacted, there are more than 600,000 union members here in Michigan who would be forced to give up their private health care plans. Now, I understand that it would provide universal coverage, but can you guarantee those union members that the benefits under Medicare for All will be as good as the benefits that their representatives, their union reps, fought hard to negotiate?
Well, two things. They will be better because Medicare for All is comprehensive. It covers all health care needs. For senior citizens, it will finally include dental care, hearing aids, and eyeglasses.
But you don't know.
Second of all,
you don't know that,
Second
Bernie.
of all,
We'll come to you in a second,
I do know, and I wrote the damn bill. And second of all, many of our union brothers and sisters, nobody more pro-union than me up here, are now paying high deductibles and co-payments. And when we do Medicare for All, instead of having the company putting money into health care, they can get decent wage increases, which they're not getting today.
So look, let's be clear about this. We are the Democrats. We are not about trying to take away health care from anyone. That's what the Republicans are trying to do. And we should stop using Republican talking points in order to talk with each other about how to best provide that health care.
Are you also, quote, with Bernie on Medicare for All when it comes to raising taxes on middle-class Americans to pay for it?
Giant corporations and billionaires are going to pay more. Middle-class families are going to pay less out of pocket for their health care. The basic profit model of an insurance company is taking as much money as you can in premiums and pay out as little as possible in health care coverage. That is not working for Americans across this country.
Thank you, Senator.
Medicare for All will fix that, and that's why I'll fight
Senator.
for it.
All right, y'all. Hey, we back on TV. All right, y'all. Well, tonight, 10 more candidates take the stage in Detroit. I ain't going to be watching. I think I'm going to watch Queen Sugar. I'm going to get caught up on Missing City on the Hill. And there's a couple other shows I haven't seen. I've been traveling on the road. All right, so let's go to our panel and talk about this here. We got A. Scott Bolden, former chair of the National Bar Association, PAC. Monique Presley, legal analyst and crisis manager. Dr. Cleo Monago, socio-political analyst. All right, any of y'all waste your time watching that last night?
Could you show a little more enthusiasm?
Nope. It's the second damn debate. It's going to be a debate a month. It's a bunch of people on the damn stage who don't need to be there, okay? I need Bullock, take his ass home. I need Marianne Williamson. Y'all hype up all y'all want to. Ain't no one in hell she going to be the candidate.
That's right.
Ain't no one in hell she going to be in the top 5. She going to be in the top 10. She can go home. Hickenlooper, he can go home. Gillibrand, she can go home. Beto, he can go home. Let's see, who else? Who can go home? De Blasio, he can go home. Let's see here, who else? There's about 25 of them. And so, basically, about 15 of y'all need to go ahead and go home. I'm just being straight up, okay? So, I keep telling y'all, I don't have any interest in any of these debates. You know why? Because I'm going to pay attention on October 1st. Let all y'all know that. Now, here's the deal. Based down in Houston. Matter of fact, no, I take that back. I'll go ahead and I'll pay attention to one at TSU because it's in Houston. Okay? On a historically black college campus. But at the end of the day, we know campaign doesn't start until Labor Day. Okay? So there's a whole bunch of people who are on stage who are taking up time, who are taking up space, like Delaney. Go sit your ass down. You ain't going to be president. You're not. You ain't going to get close. Sit down. Elizabeth Warren opened up hashtag team whip that ass on you last night, and it was embarrassing. But the other deal is all this sort of stuff back and forth. And also, let me just say it, okay? I'm not watching debate on CNN. I'm not watching some rapid fire ass. Okay, quick. No, it's policy. It's the future of the country. This ain't no damn rapid fire quiz. This ain't no quiz show. And what the hell was up with that damn opening? What the hell's up with that? See, my problem with these people, they are treating this like a game. It reminds me when I was on CNN doing the healthcare debate and the Olympics was going on. And Will Blitzer turned to me, Roland, if this was the Olympics, who gets the gold, the silver, the bronze? I said, this ain't no damn game. It's healthcare. What has happened is mainstream media is basically telling you, y'all are so stupid, you're so dumb, we can only talk about these things as if it's the WWE or a boxing match. It's not. It's the future of the country against an absolutely crazy fool. And here's the other piece, the day after last night's debate. How many judges is Mitch McConnell pushing forward? I keep telling y'all on this show, okay? Y'all can run around here, and y'all can holler about reparations, y'all can holler about health care, y'all can holler about all these different things. What you better understand is every single time somebody wants to file a lawsuit or challenge a law or go after one of these cops or deal with education, they're going to go to the federal courts. And if Trump is allowed to put on, if he gets reelected, that means by the end of 8 years, literally 400 plus judges will be put on the federal bench. You better understand what's going on. All right. What are y'all thoughts? Anybody go ahead. Anybody go ahead. Don't matter. I'm going to get a drink of water.
Yeah, I agree with you, but it was somewhat entertaining hearing Marianne Williamson and her tangent on reparations and on the 40 acres and a mule issue and how she believed that we should get reparations. It's rare that you hear that kind of language from a...
But so what?
president.
Is she not going to be president?
I agree with that.
About it,
I agree with that.
Why waste my time?
Hold on. Cleo, go ahead.
I think it's a good idea or has potential.
By the way, nice shirt.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
What?
What about me?
It's quite colorful. Go ahead, Cleo.
Oh, I think that...
If y'all wear damn dashiki, I'll compliment yours as well. Except
we know I ain't getting complimented.
Go ahead, Cleo.
Scott, we have a different... See, my perspective is always based on what black sensibilities, what black people hear, what black people see, and what we actually have opportunity to examine. The issue of reparations, which I believe in, if no one has noticed, has not been talked about on these levels. It has not been part of the psyche, the imagination, part of how we view in terms of the possibilities for us in this country. And even though these people probably will not win, I think it's interesting to hear the conversation occurring and that the issue has been tapped into our psyche as something that could occur. It came out that I hadn't heard these statistics that supposedly 73% of the people surveyed, black, were supportive of reparations. So being someone who believes reparations should happen, I think that's important that those types of ideas are running around the psyche to consider no matter who becomes the president of the United States. And I agree with Roland's analysis that this is kind of a WWE.
Yeah, but it doesn't move the ball forward in any way. The reality is,
true.
What Roland's talking about is come October, there'll probably be 10 candidates. That's really when we ought to be paying attention, and that's really where we're going to have to peel the onion back even more. Not just the 10. You're going to get down to 3 or 4 maybe when the delegates, when the primaries start.
No, it'll still be 10.
Probably not.
It may come down. What's going to happen is they'll progressively drop out. But the reality is this year, you got Iowa. But here's a piece. When you get to, I think it's around, California's early voting, I think starts in like November. The whole equation has changed. Also, the map is going to be different. It used to be all about Iowa and New Hampshire. Now, with Nevada, with South Carolina, now the other states are moving up. Again, the whole point I'm making is this, again, folks, is you have to understand what's going on here. And I'm also looking at history. At this very point in 2016, Monique, Jeb Bush was at the top, Donald Trump was at the bottom. At this very point in 2007, Obama was down 20, 25 points to Hillary Clinton. But what happened? There was a debate in October. Listen to what I'm trying to tell y'all. where the question was asked to Hillary Clinton about driver's licenses for undocumented workers. She flubbed the answer. That opened the door for Obama, and that's how he was able to close the gap, and things changed in November and December to the primary in January. But all I'm saying is, you got all these different people, and they're all fighting for literally 15 seconds and 20 seconds. The question is, are you getting substantive conversation in these debates the way they're set up? And also, I had Glenda Carr on Tom Jones Morning Show today, Higher Heights, and she's also critical of these networks, that you've had 2 debates so far and not a single black woman as a moderator. Your thoughts on these debates?
Yes, all of these men surrounding me are as wrong can be. So trust black women. That's my theme for the year anyway. Yeah, including the one that's about to debate tonight, and please do watch.
Okay.
I agree with you, Cleo, because in my lifetime, and I'm almost at 49 years, I've never seen a white woman. And by the way, some respect to Marianne Williamson, the woman who has enough scholarly influence and writing influence for the likes of Madiba Nelson Mandela to quote her work, right, about not playing small because my light is too great to be put under a bushel. We all know the speech. We even think he wrote it. No, it was that woman who last night was on the stage saying, really, the number should be at $1 trillion for reparations, but 200 to 500 billion is something that she thinks should be politically feasible and can be done. No, we haven't heard anyone on a stage say that, but it's not just that we haven't heard anyone say that, it's that it was coming from someone who was not black and was not male, and the 2 quotes of last night that got most searched and most repeated and most duplicated were Warren's quote, which I'm sure we'll hear. Don't you interrupt me, Scott, because that's how we get in this trouble in the first place. I hear you doing it.
Nobody cares.
And now you're
when
talking
she drops
out loud.
out of it,
and now,
nobody will remember her raising a question or those quotes.
I said
No
don't
one will
interrupt me,
remember.
and you still do it, and that is the
But for her,
and he's still
the
talking.
reparations still won't
And he's
move
still
forward.
Monet, come on.
Okay.
Scott, stop. Be quiet.
Thank you, host.
Go.
So, political and civic engagement means ignore him, ignore him, ignore him. If you're right now, you got kids, they're 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, they're going to be voting for the first time. Every single time a debate happens, listen to the things that the people are saying. Like I was listening last night. Yes, I was on Twitter complaining, not because it was a waste of time, but because they didn't have enough time. Because what Marianne Williamson is saying, yes, she's going to fall off. What Buttigieg is
And
saying,
nobody
and I
will
can't
remember her.
Finish, come on.
Whatever he's saying, yes, they're going to fall off. But you're supposed to take that information that these mainstream candidates aren't talking about, and you're supposed to superimpose it on them. You take your community organization, your civic organization, and when they narrow the group down, those are the things that become your demands, because those things that they're offering are righteous.
That's true.
People can't find some of these arguments on their own.
That's right.
These are people who at least have enough money to make it to the second debate. No, it's not irrelevant. Hell yes, it matters.
So here's why
And
I
I'm
say.
ashamed to-
Well,
Scott,
here's why.
you
Here's my
ran the
problem.
doggone
Here's my problem. First of all,
I remember
first of
right
all,
now.
hey, I'm talking.
repeating it.
Right.
We
a waste of time.
kowtow
I'm
to your
talking.
greatness, Astro.
All right,
I'm
Astro.
talking. Now, here's why I say it's irrelevant. How many questions came up dealing with education? We had the sister on the other day talking about the survey of black women. She talked about the 3 top things. How many questions came up dealing with education? How many questions came up dealing with the issue of voter suppression? Dealing with how they're going to attack that as well. How many of those came up? The reason I'm saying that is because what you have to understand, folks who are watching, the people who are controlling the debates, it's not the Democratic National Committee. It's not the candidates. The debates are structured for the networks to boost their stars. It's all about, hey, who can we get to fight? who can we get to go at it? Who can we get to do a gotcha moment? It's actually not about information. That, to me, is why it drives me crazy.
But that's not
watching
what
it.
happened.
Just give me 1 second. He ain't going to interrupt. You ain't going to interrupt me. What this is about is, it's about the drama. It's about the drama. Because what has happened is, and this is why Trump is president, it's because all of these networks, Les Moonves said it. He said, Trump may be bad for America, but he's great for CBS.
Exactly.
It's the drama. And that's what drives me crazy. It's not about the future. Scott, make your point. Each one will make another point, and then I'm going to a break. I'm going to my story, Mississippi. Scott.
Just make a quick point. The reason it's a waste of time is because you had 10 people on stage, and probably 8 of them, no, maybe 5 or 6 of them, aren't going anywhere. They're taking up space, not because you want to put somebody else there, but because the amount of fundraising, the amount of energy, the amount of resources going into the primaries and going into preparation for these debates is just a complete waste of time. Those lesser candidates may be making some very valid points, but we can make valid points with holding the other individuals accountable who are polling higher and who are having much more money. That's why it was a waste. That's why you shouldn't necessarily be watching it. I watched, but I'd be honest with you, but for that debate, it didn't change my life. I didn't learn anything more about reparations, and we're no closer to getting reparations now than we were before Marianne Williamson made her statements on national TV.
Cleo?
I believe, and this is similar to what she just mentioned in terms of some essences of it, I believe that these debates also create a narrative that if it wasn't for the debates, that narrative wouldn't be out in the world or in this society.
It would be on national TV at least.
Right. And I believe that in terms of possibility, the discussion on reparations on that platform does potentially plant seeds in black minds and other minds that this should happen, this is a possibility.
Which is correct, because if you go back to 1984 and 1988, when Reverend Jackson ran, he was bringing up issues the other candidates were not talking about, and that was what was happening there. Go ahead.
And he was a viable candidate, too.
Right.
Go ahead.
So,
with lots of delegates.
I have seen a few debates in my life, and that has never happened before. And young people are putting their minds, talking about black people and others, are putting their minds around, particularly hearing from the mainstream media that 73% of black people support reparations. That's a brand new consideration in the psyche of black folks to make sure it happens. Also, I think it's important to understand that black people see that white people are trying to be blackologists, there were some questions that were specific to black people, and that they look kind of strange and foolish, being that they benefit from white supremacy and privilege, talking like as if they're concerned about black people. And I think black people need to be able to see what they can see through. Well, you can't see through it and analyze it as problematic if it's not there to see.
Monique?
I agree, and I'm going to use this like the same extemporaneous amount of time they had last night. 3 things. Yes, when she said that, it was important to put that energy out and put that word out, but it also created an important challenge, because then they immediately went to Sanders, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
She's saying we're entitled to $200 to $500 billion, but it really should be $1 trillion. And then, old boy comes talking about, I'm with the Clyburn plan. Let's talk about education. Let's talk about housing. And I'm like, against your 2 to 5.
Which, by the way, hold on. No, you're going to finish your point. But here's why I'm
reclaiming my time.
No, you're not reclaiming. No. You're not reclaiming your time, because if you can explain the Clyburn Amendment to the audience, go right ahead.
Yes, I can.
Okay. Go ahead.
Can I?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Okay, so Clyburn's plan for reparations involved, and I will involve
Actually, Clyburn's plan is not for reparations, but go ahead.
Yes, it was. It was, well, not for reparations, meaning pay, for reparations through other forms, which were education, health care, and property transfer.
That's not what it is.
And it was supposed to be a reduction in taxes.
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Okay, the Clyburn Amendment is this. He wants, every time there's a federal bill, for 10% of the federal funds to go to those counties where 20% or more of the people have lived below the poverty line for at least 30 years.
But it's not money.
Here's the problem. It is money. Okay. It is money. I'm telling you. How do I know? Because I interviewed Clyburn. I have been discussing the Clyburn Amendment for at least 9 years. He tried to get the Obama administration to sign on to that to make it a part of the bill, but they wouldn't do it. Here's the other issue, though. This is why Bernie Sanders is wrong by continuing to invoke the Clyburn Amendment in this context. There are 400-plus counties that qualify for this designation. Again, 20% of the people have lived below the poverty line for at least 30 years.
Yeah.
2/3 of those counties are in Republican congressional districts.
In the South.
Precisely. So that's why when Williamson talks about reparations and Sanders shifts to the Clyburn Amendment, they don't go together, because with the Clyburn Amendment is actually 2/3 will be going to poor white people. Now you can continue.
And what I thought, hearing them and seeing the contrast and listening to what people said later today, was people noticed the difference,
yes.
right? It seemed like a huge, not just pivot, but punt for him. And I personally, I'm not against Sanders. Like I said, whatever Democrat comes out or non-Democrat who comes out, being Sanders, I'm going to vote for them as opposed to Trump. But they could see she was aiming for something that would actually repair this huge breach.
Absolutely.
He was not. Second, Buttigieg might not make it, right? But
You ain't gonna make it when you polling 0.2% among black people.
And that's fine. But the reason why it mattered last night is because there may be young, white, black, Latino males or females who are gay or homosexual or lesbian or queer or anywhere in that stratum who are looking at this man who's the first openly gay male married man to run for president and make it to a second debate and thinking that that is something that is available for them. So if they were able to see that last night, maybe 2 terms, 3 terms from now, they'll make it a little further, like the way we did with the guy, the dark-haired guy with the skinny ear, the big ears, who ended up winning.
Well, actually,
So,
but the difference between those two is the guy who won was a state senator, a United States senator, where this guy was a mayor of a 150 people town, 150,000 people, and here's the other deal. Here's the other deal. It's real simple.
Do I have to?
You ain't winning nothing if you polling 0.2% among black people.
Have a chance.
All right, y'all.
It only matters.
Okay, here's the deal. Y'all keep talking about that debate. I'm done. We're good.
I guess it's your show.
Yes, it is. And
All
it's
right,
like,
moving on.
okay, because you know what? It's going to be another one next month. Then in October,
There's
November,
one in
and December.
September.
I know that. I said next month.
This is still July.
Yeah, this August. This August.
It's whatever month you
What
want
the
it to
hell
be,
is tomorrow?
Roland.
What's tomorrow?
Astro.
What's tomorrow?
Tomorrow is not today.
What's
it's
tomorrow?
July today.
He made us around the corner.
What's tomorrow? No, it ain't around the corner.
No, he didn't. He
It's
didn't mean that at all.
tomorrow. In less
Around
than
the
6
corner.
damn hours.
That's around the corner.
You should know the hell I'm talking about. I'm going to drink your water. I'm going to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk Mississippi. Black man viciously beaten. And as cops say, we did nothing wrong. Did he beat himself? We're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered. Back in a moment.
Jesus.
You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it. All right, y'all. Okay, we back. Thank you very much. I don't know what the hell they had for lunch. All right, folks, you've heard me talk a lot about marijuanastop.org. Why? Because I want to keep you informed of investment opportunities that make sense. We have all watched the growth of the cannabis industry. A recent report by the New Frontier data estimates the global cannabis market at over $340 billion. We know that marijuana legalization is sweeping the country state by state. We also know that marijuana has a good cousin, the hemp plant, with a much higher concentration of CBD. That means hemp gives you all the medical benefits of marijuana without getting you high. Until recently, hemp farming was practically illegal in the U.S. and heavily regulated by the DEA. However, the 2018 Farm Bill changed all of that and now making it legal to grow hemp CBD in the U.S., creating one of the largest commodities worldwide. Folks, they need land to grow in all the plants. And this is not rocket science. It's pretty simple. It's just an incredible investment opportunity. And that's where our good friends at 420 Real Estate come in. Their business model is simple. They buy land that supports hemp CBD grow operations and lease it to licensed, high-paying tenants. And they're black-owned. That's right. They are hemp CBD landlords, and you can get in on the action. Go to, and of course, the folks at 420 Real Estate have done something special for our Roland Martin Unfiltered fans. Originally, it was $500, the minimum investment, but they've lowered that to $200 only for the folks who watch this show. So you can participate by losing $200 up to $10,000. Again, a $340 billion global industry that is still growing. You can participate with as little as $200. To invest, go to marijuanastock.org, marijuanastock.org. You can get in the game and get in the game now. Folks, a stunning story out of Mississippi where a man and his pregnant fiance were pulled over in Tupelo, Mississippi earlier this month, allegedly for speeding. Robert Morton, his pregnant fiance, Portia Shields, and their 4-year-old son, were pulled over along with another driver. This video has been going around social media and is recorded by Miss Shields. I'm giving you the background, the details of what happened, but listen to the cop in his exchange with the brother. Press play.
Because you're being detained. For what? That's what I'm trying to detain for what? That's what I'm trying to get the understanding of. You had an attitude when I looked in your eyes and your window rolled down. You said, follow me, and you turn your lights on. And you turn your lights on and pull him over. And I followed you slowly.
Put your hands behind your back.
For what? I'm not getting arrested.
You are getting arrested.
For what?
Get your hands behind your back.
Why am I getting arrested?
Get your hands behind your back.
Why am I getting arrested? Why am I being arrested?
You're being arrested for speeding, and now you're getting resisting arrest.
How? When you didn't tell me that? That ain't what you told me.
Give me.
Ram, please. Ram, please. Please don't do that. Don't do that.
Get on the ground.
Don't do that.
Get on the ground.
Don't do it. Just wait till somebody come, Ram.
I'm waiting on the ground.
Just wait till somebody come. Just wait till somebody come. Ram.
Get on the ground.
Okay.
Well, you ain't got to do all that.
Ram, please just don't move because he's trying to mess with you anyways.
I ain't about to fight with you, sir. You need to give me your license.
Okay, so now you want the license. Now you want the license.
Give me your.
Now you want the license. You want him to get on the ground. What do you want him to do? What do you want him to do? You want the license now?
Get on the ground.
I can't make it. What?
Get on the ground.
I'm not doing anything.
Get on the ground.
For what? For what?
Get on the ground.
Why?
Ram, stop moving. Stop moving, Ram.
Get on the ground.
Okay, now he got his bag up. Just stay right there. Just stay right there.
And you pull me.
Put your hands out of your pocket.
He want the license. He want everything.
Help me get handcuffs. Put your fucking hands behind your back.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Y'all gotta do all that. Do y'all gotta do all that? Do y'all gotta do all that? Y'all ain't gotta do all that. You ain't gotta do all that, sir. You ain't gotta do all that. All that shit what God's for. Y'all supposed to be out here protecting us. Y'all sit up and shooting y'all goddamn ass. That's so fucking stupid.
Folks, we're joined now by Robert Morton, along with his attorney, Carlos Moore. Robert, first of all, I listened to that video, and here's what I'm trying to understand. He tells you you're being detained, but detained and arrested are two separate things. Then, in listening to the video, he then asks for your driver's license. Okay, normally, when I've been stopped, normally what happens is, even if you're speeding, normally you get pulled over, the officer approaches your car, asks for your driver's license as well as title and insurance to your car, then they go back and you run it or whatever. What happened there? How did it go from, what happened before we saw the video where you're out of the car?
All right. Let's go with me, sir. All right. When we got out, when he approached the vehicle, he demanded license and registration. I leaned over to pull my wallet out of my pocket. Grabbed my wallet out, opened it up, and I asked my girl to grab the insurance card out the armrest. While I was handing him my ID out my wallet, I asked why we were being pulled over. He said, step out the car, sir. I opened the door and got out. My wallet either falls in the car or outside the car. He tells me step on the back of the car. I stepped on the back of the car, put my hands on the car immediately. He walks from the car, grabs me off the car, And that's when the video really started. I pulled away from him and he said, I'm right here on the car. And that's what the video said.
Okay, so he says you were speeding. How fast were you going?
I was going, my cruise, I always say when I'm traveling on the road, it's always between 70 and 75. Yeah, I'm going to speed up if I'm passing a vehicle or whatever, but I'm on the right lane, so there's no car to pass. I can't pass anybody if I'm in the right lane.
Okay, but
yeah.
But if you're speeding, that's a speeding ticket. How does it go from speeding? I mean, Carlos, you can jump in here. How do you go from speeding to you're under arrest for speeding?
It happens because he's a black man in Mississippi, and this was a white trooper. And so, unfortunately, Mississippi is still burning, and they saw a black man they could pick on. That's what they did.
Robert, you were not obeying his orders, and I saw this video. I'm going, this dude is going to shoot you. What? And look, understanding being angry and upset, but your pregnant fiance is there. Another child is there. Why did you react the way that you did?
Because I wasn't in the wrong. I haven't did anything wrong. And it doesn't matter if he would arrest me, detain me, or whatever, ran my license, gave me the ticket, I went down to jail, and whatever would have happened, it's still been charged on my end, regardless of the fact if I resisted arrest on camera or not. If I would have did everything he did like I did to be in that position in the first place, it still would have been. So when do a person or individual stand up for themselves when you know you ain't did nothing wrong?
And I understand that.
Anytime. He could have killed me right there for standing up for myself, but that's what I believe in. I ain't finna get on the ground when I did everything you asked me. That's any man. I respect the man. I respect that officer until he pulled me off the car when he didn't have to. When I was presenting all my information inside the car. So he could have killed me. All right.
Carlos, what are you pursuing?
We're going to pursue federal charges against the officer for excessive force. James Scott, the second officer that came up and choked him, he made the situation a lot worse. He escalated the situation instead of de-escalated. And we're going to pursue him and the first officer for violating this man's civil rights. I mean, we believe he was improperly seized and searched, and they used excessive force greater than the need called for.
Robert Morton, Carlos Moore, we surely appreciate it. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. Go to Cleo first. Cleo, you have worked with law enforcement in the past there in Los Angeles County. We have discussed in these numerous videos beforehand. So just your thoughts on what transpired there.
Well, I want to hear, and I'm sure I will, from my co-panelists, because I hear some
two attorneys
critiques
we'll hear
of
from them.
The brother, and I could be hearing wrong. They'll speak for themselves. What I think we should consider is that black men, particularly working class black men, but all kinds of black men, because I've been accosted by the police, including when I was in a police uniform, are tired of this. There's a defensiveness that's based on actual experience, the witnessing of experiences, and experiences of the murder of black people at the hands of cops that have become part of the public sphere here. So they're not trusted. Of course, there could be an overreaction. Some of us might interpret his behavior as overreaction. But when a cop comes, we're not looking at it, a lot of black men, from a linear perspective, meaning what happened that day. We're looking at the cumulative effect of having seen and heard and been accosted so many times for just being a black man, and sometimes even if it puts their life at risk. I'm not saying I agree with that, because I don't. I'm talking about behavior, cause, and effect now, not logic.
But not as black men. Remember Sandra Bland.
Absolutely.
I mean, Sandra Bland, what happened in that case...
She fits in this conversation.
Go ahead.
She absolutely fits in this conversation, exactly. And I think, from my own analysis, Trayvon Martin does, too. I think he was mad about being tracked and followed by some strange man who's like, what the hell?
Who wasn't a cop.
Right, exactly.
Who was questioned by a non-cop.
But even non-cops, when black people are in the store, follow them around the store. Merchants follow people around the store. The security guard, who's considered a fake cop sometimes by certain people, they follow you, and you get tired of it. So it looks like to me that when this brother was being accosted, yes, he was going 70 miles per hour. He was speeding.
In what zone?
But he was not doing something that's illegal and that you get arrested for.
Not true. Not true. Let me just say this. Those three comparatives...
Don't forget what I said, though, about until you get to the legal issues of speeding. I don't want people to forget the fact that people are living embodied with frustration, anger, and fear and terror, which makes them act irrational in quotes when the police shows up.
Yeah, well, the law don't allow for all those years of being terrorized. I'm sorry. Until you can get that in the law, you're going to have to live with it. Those 3 comparatives to those other cases, this case is completely different. As a former prosecutor, let me just say this, right? He was resisting arrest. You can be arrested for speeding at a certain level in a number of states. Right. In Virginia, if you're 30 miles over the speed limit, you can be arrested, hold on, for reckless driving. Now here, he admits that he was speeding, right? The cop, in my opinion, said he was under arrest. Whether he's right, the cop is right or not. No, he said he was under arrest.
1 second, the cop initially.
When he was at the back of it doesn't matter.
Excuse me.
It doesn't matter. Once he's at the back.
1 second. I'm going to follow what I heard. The cop said he was detained. Then the cop later asked for his driver's license. Then the cop saying you're being arrested.
That's right.
Go ahead.
So
because again,
there's nothing bothersome
I'm saying that because detained and arrested are 2 separate things.
Detention comes before or at the same time of being arrested. Of course, he wasn't free to leave when he's at the back of that car.
Right.
Then he's asked for his ID because the officer wants to know who I'm arresting. And thirdly, then he tells him, I'm arresting you for speeding, which you can be arrested for speeding if you're so much over the speed limit. Now, at that point,
most people
when the cop decides
most people are not arrested.
I got it.
When he goes to take him, when they decide to take you on the street, okay, you have no choice but to obey those police orders, rightfully or wrongfully, unless your life is at risk. In most jurisdictions, if you believe your life is at risk, then you can defend yourself. Now, look at the video. The video is the best evidence for the police and against him, right? He refuses to cooperate with putting his hands behind his back, and then he breaks away from the officer and swings on the officer. It's right there. Then the officer backs up.
1 second. Hold on, Henry. I want you to play the video. Scott's going to continue. Then I'm going to have Monique. I want you to pull the audio down. Scott, go.
Then he swings on the officer, and the officer backs up and puts his gun out. Then the defendant is narrating what, when, where, and how. He's not cooperating. He even says, I'm waiting on backup. So when backup gets there, because the cop keeps his gun on him, but the cop doesn't shoot him, doesn't try to fight him or anything, then this backup gets there, right, approaches him, he's told to do the same thing. And then he resists again, and that's when the two of them put him on the ground.
Monique?
This is not a good case for the defendant.
Monique?
Right. So I spent 11 years defending a municipality, including police misconduct cases for.
But look at the video. That's why the police officer showed restraint, and then he's standing there narrating.
Monique, 1 second. Monique.
He's resisting arrest.
Scott, Monique, make your point.
He has the freedom to use his mouth any way he wants to use his mouth.
Keep the video up, please.
He does not have the freedom to use his hands or any other part of his body. What he is doing is not just unwise, it's criminal. It does not matter why he was stopped, why he was pulled out the car, why he was being searched. At the point that you put any part of yourself in offense on a police officer, you just changed what you could have walked out of as a regular stop into a felony, which is assault on a police officer. I credit what you're saying, Cleo. I understand the history. Scott was in this very chair. I was over there 2.5, maybe 3 weeks ago. We had a heated debate about, and I was in the position of when a black man has enough and enough is enough and etc.
He swung again on.
It wasn't this though. It wasn't a case like this where you've got one like. See, what really happened is bruh is giving off that I'm driving and I'm high effect from the minute he gets out of the vehicle.
Exactly.
And all of the officers' antenna go up, and he's trying to pat for safety, and you can see he's doing the right technical pat for safety, and bruh won't withstand it. I don't know why, but at the point that you got your breakaway arms and your spin, I was thankful watching it 3 times that bro wasn't dead.
Exactly.
But as to the anxiousness and the frustration and etc., with no offense to our men who should be offended, that's the defense those senators use about why it's justified for Trump to break every law under God and man, because he's frustrated, because he's wrongfully accused time after time, because he's an innocent person. There's no such justification in the law for breaking the law. It is a reason why you think you are.
No, wait. And Cleo. And this is, I think, this is the conundrum. And you're absolutely right. There are moments when again, I'm gonna use Sandra Bland. Sandra Bland knew the law, and she knew that cop was full of it. But the problem is, the cops know. They know at the moment they give you a command. It doesn't matter if they're wrong. The problem is the law says if the cop gives you a lawful command, you must obey. And you're absolutely right. We see other videos where black folks frustrated. She was frustrated. Cop tried to snatch her out of the car. She's like, no, for what? Because he said, put your cigarette out. And when he ordered, and again, he ordered her out of the car. Yeah. And she said, I'm smoking, it's legal. You disobeyed a command. Now you got to get out. Then that's when she should pull him out. No. Then he tried to jam the door open. But the reality is this. That brother said, fine, if he killed me, if he killed me. But the reality is, and it's painful, and it's hard as hell. It's hard to shut your mouth. It's hard to suck that up. It's hard to do, but the reality is, the law is not meant for citizens. The law is most of the law is on the side of these cops. Cleo.
Only thing I want to respond to was what she said about Trump and somebody else using excuses of being frustrated. I think it's important to understand that it's the difference between being strategically manipulative, which is what Trump and them are doing, to make excuses to keep doing the monstrous crap that they want to do, get away with it, and a brother who looks just like the kind of person that's constantly being murdered by the cops, who's constantly being harassed by the cops, who's constantly being put in a position where they got to be controlled. I mean, the brother said something that I heard when he said, brought up man, being treated like a man.
Right.
And there's a lot of brothers in the society who feel castrated by this culture based on direct and indirect information and experience. And we need to create space to heal that, acknowledge that, and know that it's real. Because there's a lot of shutdown of black male experience in this country. And the lack of, even when it comes to voting and all types of activity that we need to do to advance ourselves, a lot of brothers feeling shut out.
Yeah, and that may be true.
This is where you hear, and even if you play the video, where even his fiance, Robert, stop, because basically what she's saying is live to see another day.
Exactly.
But to your point, he was a brother who was pissed, who felt so disrespected, who felt so angry. Scott, it don't matter when it comes to the law, because the reality is,
does matter.
No, Scott, it doesn't, because what he's saying is what he's saying is when someone reaches a boiling point and emotions take over, that is the reaction. But what you heard from the fiance is what a lot of sisters say. Now a lot of mothers say, a lot of fathers, come home alive. It's no different when I showed the Billings, Montana video, where the sister was cussing the cops out, and her husband was trying to calm the situation down. And when she cussed him out, but
she was right about it. And
no, wait, let me finish. But when we interviewed them, and the husband came on,
I was here.
What did the husband say? I was trying to calm it down because then I didn't want to have to get involved. Because what he was saying was, if it got to that point and that cop put his hands on my wife, it was about to be a problem. And so for black people, we're caught in this conundrum where we have to sit there and suck it up, and we know it's BS, and we know it's foul, and we know these cops are playing games. But the point is, you got to live to see another day.
And some of us, I'm not talking about me, when I say us, I'm talking about as a black man, don't want to live to see another day. There's something called quasi-suicide. And And there's something called where people unconsciously put themselves at risk to be killed because where they live and their environment is not attending to them. So they're like, F it. And so they go off.
And you heard him say it.
Yeah. And we got to, look, this ain't the time probably, and we don't have enough time to get into the nuances of this, but what's happening with our people, male and female, but particularly male, is putting a lot of us to the brink.
Right.
And there's no conversations about it. And it's leaving us at the brink. And that brother was on the brink.
And you're right.
He didn't care if he was
and
going
why
to
we
be
gotta
killed.
and why we gotta talk that down? Because had that cop pulled that trigger, the cop would have been lawful to do it, and that sister would have been like Philando Castile's girlfriend, left without a man, and she would have had a baby who would never seen her father. And that's the conundrum that we're in, but it's about living to see another day. Going to a break. We'll be back on Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Defining myself as opposed to being defined by others is one of the most difficult challenges I face. Politician and lawyer, Carol Mosley Braun.
Our HBCU Giving Day School, Allen University, founded in Cokesbury, South Carolina in 1870 as Payne Institute by a number of ministers of the African Methodist Episcopal Church. In 1880, it moved to Columbia and renamed Allen University in honor of Bishop Richard Allen, founder of the African Methodist Episcopal Church. Notable graduates include minister and civil rights leader Joseph Delane, former member of South Carolina House of Representatives and South Carolina Senate, Ralph Anderson, and former member of the South Carolina House, and former Circuit Court Judge Daniel E. Martin Sr. You want to support Allen University? Go to allenuniversity.edu, allenuniversity.edu. All right, folks. Now, we all knew, black people knew, Ronald Reagan was chicken shit. We knew Ronald Reagan was a damn racist. But now, all of a sudden, an audio recording has been released of a phone conversation between Ronald Reagan, he was the governor of California, and Richard Nixon when he was president. Y'all remember, Richard Nixon taped everything. And Lord, praise the Lord for his taping, because we have had some insights into the bigotry and racism at the highest level in America. Now, the tapes, folks, were private because he resigned. So what happened was they were moved to the Nixon Presidential Library. Now, when the National Archives originally released the tapes of the conversation in 2000, let's be real clear, they punk asses redacted, no, and I'm saying that's right, they redacted the racist part to protect Reagan's privacy. So why weren't these tapes released when he was running? Listen to what happened.
Last night, I tell you, to watch that thing on television as I did, to see those monkeys from those African countries, and they're still uncomfortable wearing shoes.
Well, and then the tail wags the dog there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The tail wags the dog.
Okay, it was 1971, and they were talking about something that took place between African diplomats at the United Nations. Reagan refers to these African diplomats as monkeys and says they haven't even got used to wearing shoes. One of the Reagan biographers, Monique, comes out and says, in all of his research, he had never uncovered anything of Ronald Reagan being racist. He launched his campaign in Philadelphia, Mississippi, which is only known for one thing in American history: the murder of 3 civil rights workers, Cheney, Schwerner, and Goodman. I mean, we don't know about Philadelphia, Mississippi for nothing else. That's one. Who was the originator of the welfare queen? Ronald Reagan. That's right. Who was the man who absolutely opposed MLK's birthday as a federal holiday? Ronald Reagan. Who was the man who said, no way in hell will I sign a bill putting sanctions on the leadership in South Africa, the white racist leadership in South Africa? Ronald Reagan. Black folks, we always knew. Now white folks are like, oh my God, Reagan called them monkeys. Not our Ronnie.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
What do you have to say about Ronnie?
Oh, I'm sorry. I left out one. Y'all do also remember when the Black Panthers came to Sacramento, the state capital, with the long rifles? They immediately banned that shit. When black folks, when black folks roll up with long rifles, they like, oh, we got to change this damn law. We ain't having that.
It was legal.
It was legal.
It was legal for them to be there with the
Huey P.
rifles.
Newton, study the law says, if we carry long rifles and point them in the air, it's legal. So they went to the state capitol with them guns. When them white folks saw Negroes with long rifles, they said, oh, hell no, we got to change that law. Ronald Reagan signed into law.
Yes, so the thing is, the GOP is indeed still the party of Reagan, just like they've been saying they were, and we were trying to disagree with them, but of course it's accurate. Yep. And I was in second grade. I think it was Carter versus Reagan. I was representing Carter in the debate. I brought peanuts, and my opponent brought jelly beans. The jelly beans won. Reagan was that kind that kept it, you know, the slip wasn't showing, and he was a consummate entertainer and a consummate politician before, you know, his frontal lobe started disappearing on him. And so contrasting to Trump, of course, Trump just puts his out there. So it's easy for people to look back now, not just at Reagan, but at so many of our leaders during that time who we all know by their policies and actions were indeed racist. But because they didn't wear their racism on Front Street and would still give you a hello and how do you do, that means they're not racist.
And Scott, that's what's hilarious to me. People are like, oh my God, we didn't know. Okay, because after Jim Crow, it was keep that stuff private.
Yeah, you know, the other thing that white Democrats and Republicans did in the 60s and 70s, and even now, right? They let George Wallace be the racist boogeyman, that he would say segregation now, segregation in the past, segregation forever. Now, they sympathized with him and empathized with him, but they let him be the boogeyman, if you will. Yeah. But their racist blood and bones and their policies, but what they said behind closed doors, I wish we had iPhones then or Androids then in the 60s and 70s, because I think we would be, white America would be far more sensitive
but it's
sooner than later.
But Cleo, again, at the end of the day, it's like, look, and this is the problem. When people go, Trump tweeted, there's not a racist bone in my body. Your own lawyer, Michael Cohen, has revealed what you talked about. We know the deal. And the problem is, and I'm going to play a video in a second of a conversation that happened today on Fox, where a white woman was calling Trump a racist, and a black woman, Harris Faulkner, was like, you shouldn't use those words. Cleo, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, as I've talked about before on this show, no matter how racist some white people are, except for Trump, to some extent Trump as well, people don't like to be publicly shamed. People don't like to be publicly put on Front Street for what they really are, because how people are perform in public is important. If they're two-faced, and what's his Native Americans who said something about a forked tongue? So two-facedness is a part of the culture. None of us, I'm not surprised at all that Reagan is a racist. But what bothers me is that the society is such, and this is something that Trump ironically complained about, is so PC. And even, what's his name, the Attorney General under Obama? Eric Holder.
Eric Holder.
Eric Holder, remember what happened to him?
We call it a nation of cowards. And guess what?
Exactly.
It was Rahm Emanuel who said, put him on ice.
Exactly.
And let me be real clear with y'all. See, this is why y'all don't really want me to write the black book on the Obama administration. What really happened, what had happened was, that speech was given in February of 2009. And what then happened was they put Holder on ice.
That's right.
They would not allow him to do a national television appearance more than a year. How do I know that? Because when I saw Eric Holder in 2009 in the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation dinner, he said, man, I would love to have your show be my first Sunday appearance. It was AG in February. And after that, David Axelrod went at Eric Holder, and that was almost a fight. Axelrod almost got his ass whooped in the Oval Office for going after Holder, and they had to hold Holder back, and Valadier had to go calm him down. Just want to let y'all know that.
Now, wasn't this
and so then when was his first appearance? When the guy in the New York Times in Times Square got busted with the bomb. That's when Holder was allowed to go on national television because Rahm Emanuel, the chief of staff to Obama, was so angry that he said America was a nation of cowards.
And this occurred under the Democratic Party rubric. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just so folks know. Little history.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of just raising and synthesizing the fact that when people talk about racism in this country and put it on Front Street and real, as Holder did, people lose their minds and they can get in a lot of trouble, even if they're black.
And speaking of losing their minds, okay, y'all, let me put this. This was so funny. I'm telling you, y'all gonna laugh at this. So on Fox show Outnumbered, the show. So Harris Faulkner is the only African American woman who has an hour of a daily show. And she's okay, and so she's on Fox News. This conversation happened today. Y'all gotta see this. I mean, I saw and I was like, really? And I know Harris, nice sister, but Harris, really? Really?
She got issues.
The white woman had to break it down, and then you were like, oh. You were clutching pearls. We're going to use that language. Oh, gosh. Here we go to my iPad.
Substantive front. He can make those arguments, but it's not going to change the fact that he is a racist, that he does racist things. This is
okay. Those are two different things.
No, it isn't. You're talking about voting.
Weaponizing words.
Listen, a birther means that you are a racist. Telling women of color who are congressional representatives to go back to where they came from when 3 of them were Americans from birth, 1 a refugee who is now a citizen, is racist. Thinking that the Central Park 5 is still guilty, though they have been exonerated, is racist. Okay, but... And Elijah Cummings, hold on. Elijah Cummings' district contains parts of Baltimore. It is also part of the suburbs. It is in the 61st percentile for median income in this country, above Mick Mulvaney's South Carolina's 5th, which is 22%. It is also 70th percentile in poverty, whereas Kentucky's 5th, a district that President Trump, I'm sure, loves because his voters are there.
I want to step in for just a couple of seconds because, Steve, I want you to comment on Jessica calling the president racist based on things that he has said.
Racist things?
Yeah, but, I mean, you would agree that people can say something and not actually have the name calling. We've been talking about...
But
and you didn't like it when AOC... And a staff member did it for Speaker Pelosi.
No.
I mean, it's a loaded word.
But you think that Nancy Pelosi and Donald Trump are in the same conversation when it comes to race?
No, that's why
I have sat on this couch and been badgered and
that's why I don't like the name calling at all.
That Ilhan Omar is
an
anti-Semite, or that she said anti-Semitic things, or AOC, or Rashida Tlaib. People need to be honest about what he is doing.
Do you think the name calling helps?
I think that calling people, this is the
call them out on
thing.
what they say.
Okay, PC culture is BS.
But right now,
President
we are seeing something that only after the riots did we see under past administrations
That's
in Baltimore.
That's not fair, though. You want to talk about policy.
Well, it may not be fair, but it's a fact. I want to get Steve back in the conversation.
But I gave you a bunch of facts.
I can give you facts, too. Yeah. Poverty level has hovered above 26%. For many, many years in Baltimore. It has come down recently, but it's still unacceptable that it's at 22 or plus %. I mean, Baltimore has real issues.
Talk about
Jessica.
Baltimore as a place that no human would want to live. He doesn't talk about white districts
Sanders
like
said
that.
as well. It is a third world country.
This is insane.
No, but you're playing a semantics game with that. And you
oh my God, guys! I will remember this the next time that we see. It's all about the Benjamins, and you want me to sit here and talk about Louis Farrakhan?
You work for a party that calls President Trump
I don't work for a party, by the way.
You are in a party. You are part of a party as a Democrat who calls President Trump a racist and then kisses the ring of people like Al Sharpton, who was there during the race riots in Crown Heights
and
no justice, no peace,
where the head of
it
is a racist.
You're in a party where Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez points at Nancy Pelosi and says you're racist. The Congressional Black Caucus points at the Justice Democrats and say they're targeting African Americans.
Rat infested. No human would want to live there.
Look, I appreciate the passion, and I know that we will go back and forth, but it's a conversation. Okay? And when you put your hands in the air and you roll your eyes and we kind of go back and forth, it feels less like a conversation, but that's where we need to be. Stephen?
Well, I see that I've missed a lot.
You have.
Welcome back.
Look, I mean, I would just say I think Lisa's right when she points out that Democrats have used the charge of racism against Republicans going back years, including to people who didn't deserve to be called a racist at all. I think Jessica's right when she lists the number of things that Donald Trump had said that are at the very least racist comments. I mean, I think the attack on Judge Curiel, the judge from Indiana, where the implication was that he couldn't decide fairly because he was born of Mexican Hispanic descent, that's a racist thing to say. And if you string those things together, I think that's why you have 51% of Americans saying that they think he is racist. The problem here is this is what our political debates have.
That's Fox News.
No, that's not Fox News. Not
Fox News I know.
But here's the thing. I don't know that Fox News. I'm ashamed to say that that sister just spoke to that woman a way that Laura Ingraham has never spoken to me. When I have said everything that woman said and worse, and same thing for Crazy Tucker. Never been disrespected in that manner. Never been spoken to like the fact that my passion or my hand raised or my whatever
Roland.
meant. Right. I mean, she dressed her down for her conviction and then offered up as a defense, we're less poor? Oh.
Well, see.
Can they have me on? Here's my open invitation.
Well,
can we take a response?
They can have you on, but you're not a white woman.
Oh, my God.
And this is relevant
But
here.
that's even worse. I mean, that's even more off.
Well, it's real bad because
Yes,
the point I'm
it's
making,
awful.
and I haven't witnessed what you're saying, but based on what you're saying,
they don't call roll. No wonder why. Go ahead,
they
Phil.
don't do roll call, huh? Anyway, it's easy to, from my perspective, to write you off, regardless of how brilliant you are, it's just a black woman doing what black people do, complain. But when a white woman, like you said about Marianne Williams a moment ago, when a white woman does it, they can't do nothing but shut it down because they're not willing to, in their mind, be as disrespectful to you as they are. They have a hard time dismissing to the level, and they expect you to do what you're doing.
But the they was us this
Well,
time,
but
though.
see, they are black disassociative Republicans who are there to be eyewax.
They ain't always us.
Well, they are.
They, hold up, for all your English teachers, they ain't always us.
Exactly.
And the problem, but what gets me is when Tarloff said, I'm sorry, y'all sat on this show and said Omar anti-Semitic. See, it's amazing. You want to call other folk names, then when you hit the white guy in the Oval Office with the name, no. Let's talk about what he said, not what he is.
Right. And, the other thing that's really, really interesting to me, and I've been on Tucker's show and I've been on Laura Ingram's show.
They
I think
scared to
you're
call
right.
me.
I don't, they're not disrespectful.
Scared to call me.
They just argue silly facts, if you will. And they try to defend themselves and they try to change the narrative. The one thing that gets me about white America is that it is the GOP that unless you're using the N-word, it's safe ground.
No, unless you burning a cross
and using the N-word.
You can actually use the N-word.
No,
and you can burn a cross.
I disagree. They don't believe that you can say racist things or be racially offensive and be labeled a racist so long as you don't use the N-word and you're not blatant or you don't burn a cross.
I guarantee you, I would be shocked if Fox News tonight touches Ronald Reagan calling African monkeys and saying they ain't used to wearing shoes.
Because that's not their following. That's not their following. And if they do say it,
they'll drop the N-word before November 2020.
I've said that too.
It's coming.
That the only reason he's so over the top, he working up to the N-word. And what are we going to do when the president?
Black woman. White people
what are we going to say when Ronald Reagan? I'm sorry, when Donald Trump uses the N-word?
Being white.
What do we do?
That woman.
I'm talking about the black woman who shut her down and did what she tried to do.
Well, she can do that because she's white.
I know Harris. But Harris, come on. You gonna make me send you a text.
You want them heard of
Harris, you gonna make me send you a text. But it's nuts. It's nuts to sit here on a show and you want to call Ilhan Omar anti-Semitic. And you want to call names But then when Tarloff says Trump is a racist,
the R word,
and it's like no. Yeah, painful. And see, and this is the thing.
Those words matter.
But see, this is the thing. And I know people will say, "Well, man, why you like?" So let me link the two. When I interviewed Richard Spencer, you got some Negroes who ain't never debated on television before. When Richard Spencer asked you who were you, you should have said you're a black man. Well, when you're a simpleton and don't know how to debate, and you don't know how to disarm your opponent, that's what you would say. Of course I'm a black man. But when Spencer hit me with that, I said, I'm a man. That threw his ass.
Same as you.
He was like, he was thrown. Because see, I use that, first of all, obviously I'm a black man. But see, he didn't see me as a man. He saw me as a black man. So when I hit him with that, that was like a sucker punch.
I'm a man.
And then when I kept going, and see, that's why y'all don't know how to debate, don't know what I'm talking about. When you're in a debate, you have to disarm your opponent. Okay? So here's the deal. So y'all want to know why I rarely call Trump a racist, or rarely call anybody racist? Because of this kind of stuff here. So what happens is, the conversation ain't never about what they say and do. It's the racist, not racist. That's the debate. So what did Trump tweet? Ain't a racist bone in my body. That's why when the other white woman, earlier she talked about, oh man, Trump has done this, unemployment's low, and the First Step Act. Let me help y'all out when you debate. This is how you do it. Are you done? And then when they say, this is why Fox News don't call me. And then when they get done with them three things, because y'all, it's only three things. Unemployment's low, First Step Act, opportunity zones. That's it. And then your response is, so please tell me about reinstituting private federal prisons under Jeff Sessions. Please tell me about pulling consent decrees in Baltimore and Chicago. Please tell me about telling your prosecutors to prosecute people at the highest form of the law. Please tell me about repealing civil rights protections all across the country in HUD, in Commerce, in your various departments. Please tell me about you signing into law of Obama provision that was targeting auto companies, that was discriminating against African Americans in car lending. You signed that into law after Republicans passed it in the House and the Senate. I just gave you more than three things. The problem is when you have the racist discussion, it becomes just this sort of broad, yes, I'm not a racist. Yes, you are. I'm not a racist. Yes, you are. No. I am going to talk about what you do. Harris Faulkner got mad because Tarloff slapped him with a label that was 100% correct. And Harris couldn't even acknowledge that being a birther made him a racist.
She used facts to support.
Yeah,
right, she did.
She didn't just slap it on
there. I know that.
She went
dropped
1,
it.
2,
but she
3,
she
4,
listed it.
5.
Harris like, no. Can we not use the title? And it's kind of like,
because that's a Fox policy talking point.
Right.
Just night before last, Laura was saying, when you cry racism, it just ruins the conversation. That's why I said, and when there is racism.
Yes, precisely.
That ruins
but Laura's
lives.
job is to protect whiteness. And when you
but that's the network's job.
Right, but that's her job. She took the job.
Right, I know that.
And she's sitting there.
The whole network.
Yes. But,
that's how it goes.
We need to look at how the impact of white supremacy on some black folks and how we become black white supremacists. How we become guard dogs for white supremacists.
That's what I'm saying. All right, y'all. Here's the deal. Okay, first of all, I know Scott got to go. All right, so Cap, I'll see you later. I don't know why you're not in Philadelphia with your boys.
I'm on my way.
Folks. Oh yeah, you on your way?
On your way. You speaking?
Yeah, okay.
I don't think so.
For what? I don't speak to less than groups.
No, yes you do.
Less than groups.
No, I don't.
But you speak to higher
I don't speak to less than groups. Please, y'all, real quick. President Trump is going to be ineligible for the California primary ballot next year unless he discloses his tax returns under a state law that took effect on Tuesday. Signed into law by Governor Gavin Newsom and passed a strict party line vote in the legislature earlier this month, requires all presidential candidates to submit 5 years of income tax filings. The mandate will almost surely end up in court. Ooh, I love this one. HUD Secretary Ben Carson, y'all, went to Baltimore today to hold a news conference defending Donald Trump's racist comments. He was the problem. He did it on the property of Morning Star Baptist Church. You know they black. I ain't never been to a white Morning Star Baptist Church. And y'all guess what? Morning Star Baptist Church
wasn't having it.
Was not having it. Rotate.
You were set up on this property right here. It's a church. They say, get off of our property. You know, a church, when we're talking about helping the people, I mean, this is the level to which we have sunken as a society.
If you're going to have a press conference, why not let us know that you're going to use our property to have all of these people standing around? They were actually cleaning up some of the things on the property. Why were they doing that? To make it look good for him. They weren't doing it for us. He knew absolutely nothing about this church when he made that comment.
What I'm saying is, you know, we have a society in which people, instead of trying to be helpful, you know, think only about themselves.
What a pawn.
That's what you were doing. Can I get a witness?
Yeah, but Laura and the doctor have some things in common.
Okay, what? First of all, but I love the church saying you ain't tell us.
Yeah.
To get the hell off our property.
Well, but if a Democrat would have came, they probably wouldn't have said nothing.
They were bad. The Democrat probably would have called ahead of time, though.
Probably. Made arrangements.
I mean, you just don't roll up in somebody's property, hold a news conference, using a black church as your backdrop. I mean, it's common courtesy at least to call and say, can we drop by?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Well, they might have done it before. Right now.
No, he didn't.
But no, I'm saying they might have allowed something to occur before. I don't know. My point is that, and we all know this, that Baltimore is very self-conscious and defensive right now and mad right now because the president said what he said, and they're not taking any stuff from anybody who looks like they represent that president.
But what he was trying to do, he was trying to pimp the church.
Yeah.
He was trying to send a signal. I'm a black man sitting from a black church talking about Baltimore. We trying to help y'all. When the fact of the matter is, Ben Carson, when was the last news conference you held in Baltimore prior to Trump's comments? You didn't have one. So don't all of a sudden try to act like you give a damn about Baltimore when you've been in that office for 2 years and you have not held a public press conference in Baltimore. Man, I ain't trying to hear it. Okay, all right, I got a couple other stories I was supposed to get to, but I'm going to end this story on a much better note, end this show on a much better note. From the Jeffrey Osborne Celebrity Golf Classic, I was there for the past few days, raising money, of course, for foundations, Jeffrey's Foundation, which raises money to provide arts opportunities for young folks. Well, night before last with the sponsors dinner, and as always, when Smokey Robinson is there, he has to sing My Girl. Well, he had a little twist this time because he had a little competition going. This is Smokey Robinson and Johnny Gill. Roll it.
My girl, I'm not sure who girl she is right now, but how do you feel with Johnny last night? Do you think she's really good? I don't think she's ever gonna leave you. Oh, Jeffrey, but you wrote the song. I thought you were sad. It's your song. I thought you were sad. I'm on your side. Yet you said, but Johnny, girl, you got a more shot for Johnny. But he get down on his knees and he says, my,
show, Smokey Robinson. Always a pleasure.
They better be glad that Jeffrey was on the side because he was the best singer on that stage. He's a singer. Jeffrey Osborne. It's just the truth.
Negro just can't leave the show in right. Okay, all right, y'all. I'm trying to get Smokey the oldest on the stage, okay? Anyway. You only get that on this show here because, frankly, we do black excellence on this show, and we don't sit here and cape for other people. And so I had a great time there. Got some other stuff I'm going to show y'all later. Y'all want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Please go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. This is an independent show. We're not controlled or owned by anybody else. This is black-owned, black-controlled, black-operated, and that's the way it's supposed to be. And so, please, we want you to join our fan club. Use Square, use Cash App, use PayPal. Again, we want to add at least another 1,000 members in the month of August, which is really right now, Monique. And so, join our Bring the Funk fan club. We certainly would appreciate it. I will see you guys tomorrow. Yes, there's a second debate tonight, but I'll be watching something else. Holla! You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it.
Hey everybody, this is your man Fred Hammond, and you're watching Roland Martin, my man, Unfiltered.
Hi, this is Essence Atkins, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Hey yo, Peace World, what's going on? It's the Love King of R&B, Raheem Devon, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Hi, my name is Brescia Webb, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered. Ow. Well, I like a nice filter usually, but we can be unfiltered.
What's going on? This is Tobias Trevelyan, and if you're ready, you are listening to and you are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
What's up? I'm Lance Gross, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Hi, this is Cheryl Lee Ralph, and you are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, could it be any other way? Really? It's Roland Martin.
You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. As Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Hey fam, want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? The blackest show on all of digital, cable, and broadcast. Check out our audio podcast. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Press play.